Yeah, we'll just put subtitles on mine.
You guys added size and you added some experience. There was some grad transfers. What was the philosophy in the off season or even late last season where you guys said we got to add some 300 pounders up front? What does that help?
I think Coach Mason said it best. He said a stimulus package. So what we did is we went out and we looked for, regardless of age, we looked for experience. So we brought in some grad transfers. We were able, some young men did a nice job both in high school and at the junior college, so they were able to get into school, and that's a big deal for us. So it's nice because we have young men from all over the country with different experience levels that really love football, and we added somebody at every position.
What's the difference in a 280-pound guy and a 300-pounder up there? Is there a difference just having that little extra size?
Well, here's the difference. Force equals mass times acceleration, all right? So there you go. There's some Vanderbilt for you. Okay, but it's true, right? So you got to be able to accelerate your mass. So the bigger you are, if you can accelerate, then of course you can play. But we want strong weight. We don't want bad weight. Our young men, especially our guys up front, what was great that they got to do is a lot of our defensive players played 300 or more snaps, and a lot of them were up front. We said last year at this point in time, right at this press conference, we need everybody we did. We used almost every player on our defensive roster in games. And we approach it that way. We're going to continue to approach it that way. But now we got more experience, and now we have more power.
Eddie's in Turner is a body type that you've not had on that defensive line. How big of an impact has he made for you so far?
Well, Eddie's been working since he's been here about getting in shape. Eddie has some nice quick twitch, but he's got to make sure he can play in and play out for us. He's working on that through 5 days.
Another one of those guys, Polino Bell, every down guy or just third down pass rush specialist? How do you kind of see him?
Well, he's had 5 practices. I really like his effort. He's had a few plays where he's really worked to run. One of our slogans is all gas, no brakes. So he's lived that so far. And again, everything's a competition, so we're open. But he's done some nice things through 5 days, and we're looking to see what he can do.
How do you judge the new guys once you get more into pads and contact and all that? How do you judge if a guy, these new guys that we're naming, are ready or not for a game to help you in a game?
How they can play in and play out. The thing that we've approached our defense with all year is strain. Okay, and the word train is within strain. So there's a couple reasons that means. We got to train in here. We're sitting in the weight room right now because it rained, if you didn't know. Okay, and there's lightning everywhere, which is kind of cool. But we're in the weight room, so part of it starts in here. Okay, and then it's how you can strain, play in and play out. What I mean by strain is this. If you're double teamed, sometimes you got to do the hard down. We got to do that hard down better here. So you may have 2 guys on you. We've had some good examples through 5 days where we got to strain to stay in that gap. If it's your job to set the edge of the defense and make sure everybody else can run inside out, you got to strain to do that. If it's a 12-play drive, you got to strain to no matter what, not let them in the end zone. So that's our biggest emphasis with the defense. We talk about the ball, there's only one, we got to get it. But we have to strain in everything we do. So that's through every player, every position, from the D-line, from the front to the back. Strain is it.
Is it safe to say that the scheme is not going to change that much from last year to this year, more just better personnel, deeper personnel?
Well, what's great here is we have a lot of coaches and experience on the defensive side. So we're pretty experienced in both the college and the NFL level. We've been exposed to many different kinds of schemes. So what you do is you want to make sure the schemes fit the players. So we made some things that'll look different to people and some things that'll look the same to people. But what we're constantly doing is trying to evolve it for our players. What can they do? How do they play as fast as they can? And how do we put them in positions to make plays? So again, some things will look the same, some things will look completely different.
Your recruiting class at defensive back 2 years ago, the Jerkins Douglas class, most of those guys didn't play last year, but on paper they were really talented when they got here. Are any of those guys starting to emerge as potential factors now?
You can tell I'm smiling, okay? Here's what's been impressive through 5 days. Our competition in the DB room. You guys asked a little bit about the DBs, the ones we brought in, different ages. That group of corners and safeties, they're competing. Young, old, doesn't matter. They're competing. They are running, they're flying around, they're attacking the ball. It's really fun to watch. And through competition becomes, you got to earn the right to see the field, And those groups, they're really working on that. So I would expect to see not only that class, all of our young men contributing both for Coach Fitz on special teams and for us on defense.
You put on pads today. Could you get a sense that the, I guess, competition level was raised up a little bit?
Well, I thought when we started certain periods a day ago that we needed to have a talk about it as a defense. So today we had that talk in meetings, because what you want your young men to do is focus on each day. You know, some of the questions that we ask or we talk about are in different situations. You know, young men coming in or the future of the that's different. When you play football, it's about each day. So today when we put on the pads, I thought that intensity level was even up from the day before. So I'll answer it that way. The intensity level, there's still some things to fix. It's practice. That's what you do. Mistakes are just lessons. You learn from them, especially in practice. So, and you fix the mistakes and you move on. But our intensity level was better today. But it needs to stay there all the time. Every day the intensity should be give whatever you have every day. We're getting closer to that.
You coach defense at all different levels. NFL, you mentioned. Is there anything, having gone through the SEC in one season, was there anything different about this job than was just different from the Pac-12, from the NFL, from a defensive perspective?
Well, I think first is the definition of different. Different's not bad, it's just different. So there's a lot of things that I thought that we can build on. Attacking the ball. Some of the things we did on third downs, third and longer. We need to improve third and shorts. We need to improve our strain. That's been the biggest thing. Learning. When you go through college football, it's a little bit more of a sprint, which we talked about anyway. The NFL's a little bit more of a marathon. 20 games, a bye week, and then you go into the playoffs. College football is 12 games with 1 or 2 byes. This year we have 2. So it's a little bit more of a sprint. So it's how quickly you can put the last game away. Doesn't matter. You want to go 1-0 every week. That's all of our goals, of course. But whatever that is, you got to turn the page. You got to turn it fast. So one of the things that we worked on researching in the offseason is that. How do we get our young men, our student athletes, to whatever it is, pop right back and take advantage of what's going to happen this week? So that's one thing we've worked on, and that's one thing we're really going to see how well we plan that during the season.
One or two more questions.
Colin Anderson's been a guy that has done some things in fall and spring camps past, but it just had trouble staying healthy at times. He's back out there. How do you assess his progress right now?
Colin has worked his tail off to get back, and he really has, and he's had some things that have been tough. We're in the weight room. He spent a lot of time in here. The training room's right over there. He spent a lot of time in there. So I really appreciated his work ethic. What Colin and we're working on is what we talked about, one play at a time. So he's done a couple things in these few practices, and he's started on his process back. We're excited to see if he can live that process and work on it day by day by day.
One more question.
Good.
Coach, thank you.
All right, thank you guys.